So, it's almost Father's Day, so I thought I'd tell a story about my dad. My dad is not the most emotional person. Growing up, if I wanted to know what my dad was thinking, I'd have to either ask my mom or kind of gauge it based on the O that he'd give me, like, oh, hey dad, I sold a screenplay. Oh. Or, hey dad, I'm getting married. Oh. Like that was the extent of it. And in the 32 years that I've been alive, I've seen my dad cry 1.5 times. The first time I was 6 years old, and my grandpa had just died. And I was going downstairs to watch some TV, and I didn't realize that my dad was down there. And he was down there just silently weeping to himself. And I just kind of sat there and stared. I didn't know what to do. I'd never seen my dad cry. It really affected me. And the second time, or the half time, was when I was 16 and my dog died. And I came home from school, and my dad pulled me aside, and he started to tell me that your dog was sick, and we had to put him down. And his eyes started to well up, and I just said, stop. Like it was so foreign for me to see my dad cry that I just had to say, stop. I get it, dog dead, I'm going. So I went. On the flip side of that, my daughter is 4 years old, and she's seen me cry just about every week. I have cried reading The Velveteen Rabbit. I've cried watching Finding Dory. I've cried watching a particularly sad episode of Barney Goes to School, where Baby Bop is really sad because she couldn't go to preschool and she was holding her blanket and it was really sad, so I started crying. It wasn't that good. So my dad and I are kind of opposites in that way. So, when I was 16 years old, I had a part-time job at the National Labor Relations Board. And when summertime came, they wanted me to do full-time work. And 16-year-old me was like, I don't want to do that. I mean, I know it sounds like a fun factory, the National Labor Relations Board, but it was kind of dry. And I didn't want to spend my summer doing labor work. So I told my parents, and my dad was livid, absolutely livid about it. And he said, as words were exchanged, he said, the nuclear option in our family, he looked at me and he said, you are just like your sister. And I know that sucks, right? Like, how would you like to be the person in your family that is the insult? Like, how awful is that? But regardless, that's where it went. My dad said, you are just like your sister. And I went, oh, how dare you? And I threw my keys on the ground and I said, you take your car back and you take this computer back and I went out the door and I went off into the night. I don't know what I went to do, but I went somewhere to mow. So I came back late at night, went downstairs, thought my parents were asleep, and I started watching TV. And all of a sudden I hear above me a creak, creak, creak. I hear somebody pacing for an inordinate amount of time, like 10 to 15 minutes. I'm just like, what is going on? Just pacing, pacing, pacing. Then the pacing comes down the stairs, my dad comes in the door and he goes, Matthew, come here real quick. I go upstairs, takes me to the front door, and he's like, do you hear that? No. So he said, okay, come with me. So we just bought an oven. My dad takes me up to the kitchen, takes me in front of the oven, and he proceeds to show me how to use an oven. He was like, here's how you turn the burner on. Go like this, click, 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 click. There's the oven. Here's how to set the timer. And he goes through and he tells me all of these steps, and I'm just like, why the hell is he telling me this? It's almost midnight. Why do I need to know how to use the oven? So when he gets to the self-cleaning feature of the oven, after however long, he finishes and he goes, and yeah, that's how you press that, and I'm sorry. And that was it. That was the extent of my dad and my discussion. I said, I'm sorry too. Night, Dad. Went to bed. Looking back, I know how tough that was with my dad. The whole experience. And I know he wasn't really talking about an oven. When he was like, when you're holding the burner and you're holding it goes click, 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 what he was really saying was, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that stuff, that was wrong. And when he said, when you want to set the clock, you press the clock button and the hour button at the same time and make sure to hold blah, 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 he was saying, I know I can't say all the things I want to say, but, you know, I'm sorry. And when he said, don't leave the burner on because it'll burn the house down, he meant it, because a burner on would burn the house down. I love my dad. And I know he loves me because even through all the oven talk and the O's and all that stuff, my dad has never had a problem saying, I love you. And I've never had a problem saying it back.